Hello there. It's Terry Korte here, just coming to you live from the beautiful fourth floor multi-purpose room at the Center for Education in Edmonton. Anyway, thanks for joining me. Today we're going to be taking a look at some of the photo tools that I really like inside of Google Apps for Education, doing a little bit of a demo, and it's really going to be kind of like a workshop format where you'll be able to try some things out. I'm going to pause my presentation for 5 minutes, throw up a timer on the screen, and then give you some time to work on things as we go. If you're watching this live, that's good because you'll actually get a little bit of time to work on it. If you're not watching it live, you can just skip through on the little slider at the bottom, right down here on the bottom, and skip past the 5 minutes and go to the next one. Just gives the people that are joining us live here a chance to try it out as if we were doing a workshop in a room. So just give me a second. Okay, so what we've got here is I'm going to go in and show you some things inside a document. So I'm going to open up a basic document that I've got. This one's called Untitled. Lovely. I think we've got about, almost close to 1 million documents in Edmonton Public. I'm sure a quarter of them are called Untitled. I'm going to click on the, just wait for Read and Write Google to load. I'm going to click on the title, call this one Mars Rover. Okay, so I've written a little essay about Mars Rover. I've actually gotten a lot of my information from different places on the internet, but now I want to insert some pictures. Now in the past, what I might have done is go to another tab, done some searches on Google or wherever else and brought some pictures in the Microsoft world, and maybe I would go to clip art or something and bring some clip art images in. This is the basic step of the using photos in Google Apps. So what I want to do first of all is let me just insert. This is the basic way to insert pictures. You've all probably seen this, insert image. Okay, a couple things I want to put. The upload an image is the easy part. That's no different than you've done in a lot of different ways. Take a snapshot is another one. So I could take a snapshot and use the webcam on the Chromebook or on the computer to do that by URL if I had the URL of the photo. But we actually want to take a look at the search function here. Okay, the search function here, what I like about this one is that it actually, if you notice this really interesting label right here, results shown are labeled for commercial reuse with modification. So these are your guilt-free, copyright-cleared images. This first one is a straight Google search. You can search Life magazine archives, or you can search some stock photography. What Google is really good at, for example, I put in Mars Rover here, it's going to do a search on Google, but only for images that have been specifically labeled for reuse with modification. So these are, labeled as copyright clear. It doesn't mean that, someone hasn't taken it from somewhere else, but you may not get the most high resolution images here. But these are ones that are free for you to use. An interesting little fact here is you can actually look for different photos, clip arts, ones with faces, or just a certain color scheme. You're not going to find much green on Mars rovers, but if you put in, for example, Edmonton, did a search, right? You're getting lots of different pictures of Edmonton. These could be coming from Flickr or whatever else, any other service where they've marked them as copyright clear. But you can say, show me ones with lots of green in them, because my presentation, I want to have some green in the background. So these are all pictures that have predominantly green. So if you're doing a themed image, that's a pretty cool feature. Or there wouldn't be much clip art, but show me some faces, some pictures that have faces in them from Edmonton or that have been labeled somehow with Edmonton. Okay, that's a cool little feature. If I put in Paris and I change this instead of face, we'll go to any type. Again, I'm in the search. I'm in the search function. Check this out, right? I'm in the search area after I went to insert photo. And any type of photo, not green, any color. But now instead of searching Google, I want to search Life magazine stock images. So these are going to be high resolution images from the Life magazine archives. So it's a whole other archive you can search. Or if I search the stock photos, these are typically super high resolution images, but that are free for you to use. So here's a really great one of the Eiffel Tower. Let's select that one. It doesn't fit with my Mars Rover app, but you can just see what a great quality picture that one is, right? I can then resize. Okay, I'm going to take that one out and I'll go get a picture of the Mars Rover in a second. How I prefer, so that was the first, let me just back up a sec. That was the easiest way to insert a photo insert image, right? And I was using the search function over here and the different types of searches you can use. That's not the one I prefer, though. Actually, I like using the research tool. If you haven't used the research tool before in Google Docs, this is a tool under the tools menu, and turn on research. Just going to confirm that it's still looking the way it's supposed to look. Yeah, okay. I've got the research tool over here, and once it's open, you can see all the different kinds of things you can search. Everything on Google Images, things on Google Scholar, so peer-reviewed articles or whatever, quotes, the dictionary, and for tables of data on the Mars rover. Okay. Cool thing to do with this is if I highlight the word Mars rover and then go to tools and research, it's automatically going to search for the Mars rover. Now the first one is a general search. Give me Wikipedia articles and web results, but I can also change that and narrow it down to just images. Great thing about this is doing a full web search. It's just like going to Google in another window and searching for Mars rover. Let's find one that I like here. Actually, I think this one here is pretty cool. I can just drag and drop it right into my paper. Now you can see it's going to actually I'll put it kind of at the end of the third paragraph here. A couple of cool things to note here is that there's a little footnote right beside it there. I don't know if you can see on your screen. Right beside, I'll just zoom over here a bit. Right beside the picture, there's a footnote. Okay, the number 1, which corresponds, zoom out here, corresponds to it automatically puts a footnote with the link to the image at the bottom of the screen, which is kind of a nice feature. It automatically puts it in, and it puts it in line with the text, which isn't the way you typically want to do it. So I'm going to click on that image, and my options are wrap text, which is typically what I like to do, and then align it along the left edge. And you notice what happened there? As I moved it to the right, red line appears, which means that's where it's going to line up with the edge, with the margin on the page. Okay, so it helps you keep everything nicely lined up. I can enlarge it a little bit from here. And there's my picture. I'm just going to close the research tool for a second and give you a quick little zoom out so you can see what the whole page looks like. Okay, so it's nicely balanced on the page. Okay, a couple other features I want to show you with the picture now that it's in there is, let's say I clicked on that image. I want to break, you wouldn't worry about breaking the text, but I want to put a little bit of a margin around it to give it some more room so it's not so tight with the text. You can actually increase the text that way just by adding a little bit of a border. That's a bit too much, so let's go like that. And there's my picture wrapping the text, so I can put it on anywhere on the page and it's going to wrap the text around it. Okay, so that's a nice, I really like that feature as far as putting in an image. Yeah, I'm going to take that one out for a sec. Before we take a little break to do for you to try some of these things yourselves, I'm going to notice I take out the footnote number. It's also going to delete the footnote at the bottom. I'm going to put in a little bit bigger picture to show you one other thing. So let's go back to our document here. Tools, research. Again, it's saving. It's back into the photos. We'll go to Mars rover mission. Try an extra word this time, see if we get anything different. Okay, so now we actually have, have one with a little bit more to it. Okay, let's try out this picture. We're going to throw this one in here. And again, depending on the size of the picture, it's going to do some different things. That's not a very big picture, but that'll work. I'm going to wrap the text like last time, put it over at the edge, line it up with the red line right there, make it a little bigger. Now let's say I don't really want to have these rocks in the picture. Okay, you notice when I've selected the picture, so it's got the little drop boxes around the edge, I can actually rotate that picture if I want to, with using the little rotate button at the top, and tells me exactly the degrees. I don't want to rotate this one, so leave it back at 0. I can resize it by grabbing it from the corner. That's pretty obvious. But up here at the top, there's a couple other options. One is crop. So I can crop these images in place. I don't have to take it into some other program to do any cropping. So I'm going to crop. Let's say I don't want to have more like this kind of a picture, that size. Hit enter. Now it's cropped that. Now I can move it over here. Okay, that's pretty cool. I can reset the image if I want. Image options is a nice feature too. If I go into here and I think, okay, well, let me just go and I want to actually make that a little brighter. So that's a little too much. Maybe just more contrast. There we go. Because I'm printing this, let's say, in black and white, and I want it to be, see what it actually looks like. So I'll change it to grayscale and up the contrast a little bit. There we go. So this is my black and white picture, all done right from within the Google document. So the tools I used there so far in this first 5 minutes or so was insert image, and then from there I used the search tool over here and one of those 3 sections. Second thing I was demonstrating was selecting some text, going to tools, research. Again, I changed this to show me just images, and then I can drag and drop images from here right into the document. And once I drop them in, and I've got that picture selected, I'm going to get some special tools up here. You notice when I'm off the picture, those tools don't appear on the toolbar along the top. When I click on it, I've got some extra tools up here, including, do you want to put a border around it? How thick is that border? What's the color of the border? The crop tool and image options. That'll all pop up once you have that image selected. All right. So now's the time where I want you to go and try some of those things. I'm going to put a quick little timer up on the board. This is my favorite little, one of my favorite little extensions. Not an extension, just sort of a tip in Google is, I'm going to go into the address bar, the Omni box at the top, type in timer, 5 mins, and right away a timer begins, starts counting down. There it goes. Okay, and I'll full screen that. So I'll be back in 5 minutes to continue on with, we're going to take a look at some of the different things you can do in slides and drawings. It's a bit different than what you can do in docs. Okay, enough of that. Back at it. All right, next thing I wanted to show you, thanks, hopefully you had a little bit of time to do your work. If not, you can just pause this, and what you'd actually see once you pause it is, 1 second, oh yeah. If you pause it, it'll just kind of catch up as you go. So that's kind of fun. Okay, I'm going to do the next little bit with a presentation. That's another really common thing that staff and students use as a presentation. So let's make a presentation. We're going to call this one New York. All right, so I've got a presentation. I'm going to change the slide format, sorry, the layout of this slide to make it just a blank slide so we can actually do a little work. A lot of the things I'm going to show you in here, you can actually also do in Google Drawing, and there's a couple other features in Google Drawing. What I like about doing this for making, let's sort of, if it's sort of like a poster type thing, I'm just going to make sure my settings there. Yeah, okay, good. Whether it's a poster type thing or any kind of graphic organizer, thing like that. Drawings work really well, but so do presentations, just because people are more familiar with presentations. Okay, so let me just bring in some different graphics into this one. So again, the tools and the research tool is right here. So you can see just a quick little aside here. Another feature that slides have that nothing else has is the videos tool. So you can do a search for Edmonton in here, and you can actually preview and insert videos directly into your slide from the research tool. And they'll actually play right in your slide. Let's let that go. Right, nice little slideshow. And again, we got that just by, let me just turn that off, just from doing the research tool around Edmonton. Now, of course, this project is New York, and we're not talking about New York. And we're not talking about videos, but we're talking about images. So here's some images of New York. Okay, these are Google search images. Of course, I could also use the insert image icon here, or insert image, right? Or I could use the image icon right here and use the exact same tools we used a little bit earlier, like the search tool, right? To look for Google, Life, or stock images there. Copyright cleared images. Again, I want to point out here that your albums in Google Drive, your Google Drive has unlimited space. So photos that you take and upload to Google Drive, they're going to go here. This is just going to show me images. You'll actually see anything actually shared with you. So if students take pictures, there's a nice one. If students actually take pictures and share them with you, they're also going to show up in here, as well as screenshots or anything else. And they're shared with me, and there's recent, right? Recent pictures. So if you upload something, if you take a picture from your phone and using the Google Drive app, upload it to Google Drive, they're all going to show up in recent there right away. Anyway, for now, we're just going to make it a little report on New York, or one slide anyway, using the research tool. So again, that's under tools and research. So I'm going to pick a picture that I like here. Let's take this one, drag and drop it in. There's one. Now, it doesn't put a footnote, but you notice it puts the actual link at the bottom. Okay. I'll show you something else. You can do that in a second. Here's another nice skyline image of New York, slightly different size. And let's say New York. Let's see. Okay, let's drop this image in there too. So I got 3 images. Whoops. Yes, that worked. It's going. There we go. I might have done that. Might have done that twice. Okay, so I've got 3 images in. You'll notice that each one of them, when I click on it, it brought in the link as to where it's from, which is good in a way. I can also, though, use that if I want to change that and say this is actually going to be a link. I could change this and say this is going to link to, a site on the Statue of Liberty. Now you notice when I type in Statue of Liberty, it's actually doing a search, right, for other slides in the presentation, or it's doing a search for here's a government site with that. I don't know if that's the right site, so I'm not going to link that, but it'll actually do those searches for you. Or if you knew you wanted to go to EPSB.ca, Edmonton Public Schools, you could do that, and it's going to actually be a link directly to EPSB.ca. But for now, I'm just going to remove those links. Okay. Again, remember, I can rotate those images if I want. I can crop them using the crop tool up here. Make it a little less. You can resize them using the corners. But let's say I didn't want to do any of that, so I'm just going to go Control Z, back those all up. I want to line all these up across the top. So there's nice alignment tools that are built in. Again, those red lines you saw on the last, lining things up at the margin. Now I'm going to line these two up. You can see the red lines show up at the top. So that means those two images, the tops are aligned. Take this third image, align it with the top. Perfect. One other thing I want you to notice is when I click on this and move it left and right, you can see those other two spacing icons in between the three pictures. Right now, when I move it into position, you can see it locks right in there and says, okay, now those three images are aligned across the top and they're equally spaced between them. So that's kind of a nice feature, I think. So let's say I want to make these three buttons all the exact same size. I can stretch this one out. As I drag it down, you can see it'll show me now it's lined up with the bottom. Perfect. Now I can crop it, drag this over. So it's in the middle there. Do you see the little spacers in between the pictures now, even though I'm just cropping? Whoops, right there, there. Enter. Okay, and this last one, I'm gonna have to make it a little bit bigger. It'll drag out past the edge, that's no problem. And I'm gonna crop it. So let's bring it in. There, and it tells you it's the same distance for the three. So now I actually have three images. If I present that, three images, all from the Google research tool on the side, all exactly spaced equally apart, aligned perfectly across the top. And if I were to click on this first one, I took the links off, right? But if I left the link on, I could click on each of these and they would each take me to a different place from the slideshow. Okay, so that's a little bit different, some different features in slides. Here's an easier way to line things up. And some of you that know this feature, you're probably thinking, why am I doing all that time lining those things up? But I could also take these three images, click and drag and select all three, and then either use the arrange tool at the top or right mouse click and say, let's align these all vertically across the top. Okay, and if I move this one to the edge and this one, okay, now I'm going to align them again. Align, let's say, sorry, align vertically across the top, so it lines them all up. And then I'm going to also right mouse click and say distribute horizontally. So that evenly distributes all three of those images across the top of the page. Okay, so the distance between them is equal. All right, one more thing to share before we'll do a little quick work, another 5-minute work plan with this stuff is the idea of master sheets in Google Slides. This is a really cool feature, and again, this has to do with photos. But let's say I wanted to have a background. I've got a bunch of slides. I'm going to select this slide here and go Control D, Control D, Control D, 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 D. So I've got a 7-slide presentation, and they're all just plain white background, right, for now. But I want to have an image in the background of all these. And let's say, this slide is going to be my title slide, right? And this slide is going to be my, slide, apply layout. This is going to be like more of a content slide, right? Want them all to have an image in the background that's nicely faded out. Well, you know how to do a lot of it right now, but one of the features is under Slide and Edit Master. Okay, the themes are there. You could pick a theme. There's lots of cool themes. You've all seen these different themes, but let's make our own theme really quickly. So Slide, Edit Master. Again, I could apply the master, what I'm doing here, like a logo or something to just certain slides. Let's say I don't want anything on the title slide, but I'm going to apply it to all. So here's the master at the top. You can see along the left, it's going to apply it to every single slide. And now I can use all these tools that are not grayed out at the top. So I'm going to go to Tools and the Research tool. And let's look at New York again. I want to use one of those nice big sweeping vistas of Manhattan. Okay, let's take... I didn't want to click on that. I just want to grab it. Yep, I like this one. Let's do this one, drag it in. There's my picture of Manhattan. And even though it's kind of small, it doesn't really matter for this because it's going to be faded out in the background anyway. I'm going to remove that link. stretch it across the page. I can go a little bit over the edges, doesn't really matter. And it'll up a little bit. That's all good. All right, now, so it's covering the slide. You can see from the example what it's doing to everything. But if I start to put text on top of that, it's going to look pretty busy. See, like this one, it's going to get, there's too much going on there. So I'm on the master slide. I'm going to click on that picture. So it's selected, the little blue boxes around it. And then I'm going to go to image options. And I'm just going to crank up the transparency. There we go. I could change the color, make it a nice little certain black and white or something like that. But actually, yeah, you know what? That might look better. Sure. So transparency is up, a little more transparency. There we go. So it's my report about New York. Again, it's all saving automatically as we go. You can see this stuff here. Click back here, it closes it out, and now I have my right, and every slide is going to actually have the pictures. Now when I insert more pictures into here, oh, we'll put this. No, I won't do that. Anyway, when I insert pictures into here, I won't bother with one today, but they'll actually look nice over top of the nice grayed out background. So that's under Slide, Edit, Master, and then you can use the exact same tools you had before. We also covered in that little stretch of time, we also covered the idea of inserting images and aligning them across the top, resizing them, cropping them, and that idea. Okay, so I'm going to take another quick little 5-minute break here. So I'll set a timer. I'm not actually taking a break. I'm working hard during this 5 minutes, and I want you to as well. This is 5 minutes for you to try a couple of those things out, and I'll be back in 5 minutes to continue on with the next thing, which we're going to look at some of the different extensions that you can connect in to Google Drive. Okay, you ready to go? All right, let's get going again here. I'm going to stop this timer here before it beeps again. Stop, 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 stop. Oh, I didn't do it. Okay, great. All right, back to it. So we're in Google Drive. What we're doing today, again, I want to thank everybody for coming by. We've got about 10 minutes left, and we appreciate people tuning in to watch the PD delivery this way instead of our community practice being in person in February. We know it's a busy month with teacher convention and lots of different PD days and getting started with the new semester. And this is a really new way to deliver different training sessions and things like that. I want to also invite you, if you are interested in sharing a session with the rest of your colleagues across the district, and these are public hangouts on air, so they're archived and people can watch them from anywhere. If you're interested in sharing something, whether it's a 15-minute little tutorial or something you want to share about what you're doing, and you can do it in a way that doesn't compromise any student data, get a hold of us through Google+. I posted an invitation out there, or just email me at terry.korte@epsb.ca, and we'll set everything up for you. All you need to do is be at your computer, and we'll do a little test run with you, and you can do the same kind of hangout and share what I know. Lots of wisdom out there in the schools from our travels. We see a lot of really great things happening. So we're just here. The TIPS team's just here to get the ball rolling on this, and our hope is that we get a lot more from the staff in the schools in the future. Okay, like I said, now we have, after that diatribe, we only have about 9 minutes left. So I'm going to show you 3 really quick ideas, and then you'll have time to explore them on your own. This is my Google Drive. And from the Create button here, did I change it out to the old? Oh, sorry. I should be using the new drive. Silly me. I must have put it back to the old drive, checking on something. Let's go back to the new drive here. Because this is the default, right? So we're gonna go to new. And I'm not sure if you've noticed this, but under more, you'll actually get a whole bunch of other options you can add. Now I've got a few different ones that have to do with photos and photography, and for doing really basic photography, I'm going to connect one here. And these are things that tie into your extensions. They're not made by Google necessarily, but they extend the power of Google Drive. So this is what I'm going to show you quickly is PicMonkey. And what PicMonkey does, I'm just going to open it up here. Come on, let's go. Oh, it's already connected. So what I'm going to do is take a picture and open it using PicMonkey. So if I just change my search in my drive to images, owned by me, do a quick search, this should just show me images. I'll take this nice picture of this puppy. This isn't my puppy, but mine's pretty cute too. And let's take this picture, right mouse click, I'm going to say open with, and I can choose the different editors I have that'll actually work with this picture. So PicMonkey is one. Let's just start with that one. And PicMonkey is kind of like Instagram. It allows you to do basic editing on top of a photo, cropping, adding filters, adding text over top of it, adding a frame to it. Any kind of thing you'd see in an Instagram type application, you could do with this. And you notice that I'm opening and working on pictures that are actually in my Google Drive. So again, how do you get pictures into your Google Drive? You can upload them. You can upload a whole folder from your computer or whatever, or you can also load the Google Drive app onto your Android or iOS device, and then just hit the upload button or the red plus button from within the app, and add those photos that way. It goes onto your Google Drive, and they are there's no space limits or anything like that. Because it's unlimited space on your Google Drive. So once I have the picture there, you can see I can crop, I can change the canvas color, I can change the frames around the picture, right? Most of these are free, and there's a few kind of premium ones they don't let you add to it. Some text on top of the picture. You can see once I click on that, it's going to take a second to load, and it'll actually let me apply text onto the top of the image. So you may want to use that. There you go, and whatever text I decide to put in. I didn't add any yet, but it would actually let me put it in here and rotate that text, recolor that text, and go from there. So that's pretty much easy for people to try out. Again, you got to that by going to New, More, and then down at the bottom, Connect More Apps. If you don't have any apps, it'll be the first one there. Now let's say you had a picture, and you actually, I'm going to look for images. Photoshop here. I'm looking for, let's say you're have images. Oh, it doesn't, not finding it there. Okay, so let's take a regular image and open it with the Photoshop-like product here called Pixlr. So I'll use that same image. How about right mouse click on it, open with another one that I've added called Pixlr Editor. Now PicMonkey is the simple Instagram type one. Pixlr Editor is the more advanced Photoshop type one. So this allows you to do full layers. And what layers are about is, let's say I took this puppy, but I wanted to use it in a different image. Layers allow you to do a quick select. I'll just do a real rough selection around this little doggy here. Again, I should be more careful, but I'm just going to grab the puppy. Okay. I can select the puppy, copy him, right? Select the inverse of it, whatever you need to do, right? Move that, not the selection, whoops, but the actual dog, if I want to put it into a different image or change the background and put them in a different setting or whatever else. Layers allows you to do that. Right now there's only one background layer. If I added a new layer over here, then on that new top layer, I don't know if you can see that there, but I've actually got, let me get rid of this one. I've actually got a layer on top. So you could actually have, more than one or whatever you want to do with it. There's the idea of layers, being able to do really intricate photo retouches if you needed to. And that's kind of, if you're familiar with Photoshop or a Photoshop Lite, this has some really nice features like that. And you'd have to just explore that, and it's got some built-in help files with that too. All right, just about out of time. One other last thing I wanted to show you was everybody in, this isn't exactly in with Google Drive, but everybody in Edmonton Public also has you can sign in to your YouTube account. So I go to YouTube, and everybody's used YouTube to watch videos, but you can also click on upload. And what upload will get you is, upload's a bit of a misnomer, I think, because you can actually do a lot more than just uploading videos to here. You can see one of the options when I hit upload is a photo slideshow. So a lot of times people ask sort of like, what if I wanted to take my photos like I did in PowerPoint and create a show and make it play or whatever else. So you can see here that I've made a photo. It's asking me for my photos, and you can see here I've got, in the tips team, I've got 3 different photos here, or I could upload photos here and drag and drop them. Okay. Once I do that, I'll just take these ones because it's simpler and select. So there's 3 different photos as part of the tips team profile, and go to next. Here's where I set my settings. Each slide's going to last for how many seconds? How do I want them to go in between? It doesn't give you many options there. The transition, yes, I like that one. Okay, in between them, and there's lots of different copyright-free audio that you can put in with it as well. So it's going to start throwing that audio in. Okay, when I'm finished, again, it's a bit of a misnomer, but I'm going to click upload, and what that upload would actually do is, let me just stop that for a second. When upload's going to actually save that onto YouTube. And then I can check you'll see once I upload that, I can actually change my settings if I wanted to make this private, if I wanted to download it and put it into my Google Drive. So for example, a lot of times you do a photo slideshow with student photos. At the end of the day, you wanted to make that more private or save it just to your Google Drive. You could do that using Google Takeout. So and I've run out of time, but Google Takeout allows you to, if you just do a search for Google Takeout, and you're signed in with your Edmonton Public account, it'll actually tell you, do you want to export your YouTube videos? Click yes, it downloads them as MP4s, and then you can take those videos and just upload them onto your Google Drive where they're private, or you can share them with just your students or whoever else, or put them into Classroom or onto School Zone or whatever. Okay. Yeah. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed that. Anyway, thanks for tuning in this time. And again, I'd like to remind you that every Tuesday in February 2015, we'll actually be having these other Hangouts on a bunch of different topics, and check back on our Google Plus page, which is where you're probably watching this, to see what those topics are. Or you can go to tips.epsb.ca and check out the schedule there. All right, thanks a lot. Have a great day.